Reading Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing in a conference meeting room at Town Hall, 16 Lowell Street, Reading, Massachusetts, on Tuesday, February 6, 2024, at 7 p.m. On the application of O'Sullivan Architects Inc. on behalf of the owner, pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 40, Section A, and or Section 10 for a special permit, variance, or other relief under Reading Zoning Bylaws, Section 4.5, 6.0, 6.3, 7.0, 7.3, and 7.3.2, as may be determined by the zoning board to increase the height of the existing non-conforming dwelling with non-conforming side yard setbacks in the S20 district for the property located at 19 James Road, Assessors Map 6, Lot 88 in Reading, Massachusetts. Unless there's an objection, I'll dispense with the reading of the abutters list. To say that the abutters were notified, as well as the following: the select board, town clerk, police department, fire department, building department, conservation commission, health department, assessor's office, engineering division, CBDC, members and associate members of the Board of Appeals, as well as the planning boards of Wakefield, Linfield, North Reading, Stoneham, Woburn, and Wilmington. I'm going to do it just an oath. So if that's what I'm given before this board is taken under oath. So if you think you may want to speak, please stand and raise your right hand. I don't know if you want to do anything. Yeah, just go get it out of the way.
If you would like to speak, then please feel free to.
Oh, I just want to get information.
Okay, great. I swear that the testimony given by me before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Responses I do.
I do.
Great, thank you. Cool. So I guess if you want to get started, Representative for James Road, do you want to give us an overview of the case?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Eric Moore, and I'm the owner at 19 James Road. Lived there since 2014 with my family, my wife Amy, and my two daughters. And what we would like to do is we would like to add a master bedroom, bathroom over the garage. Right now we have 3 bedrooms, and we kind of share a bathroom on that floor, that main floor. So as my daughter's getting older, we kind of want to have our own space and basically have our own bathroom. So that's kind of the main purpose of the project, is to really just go above the existing garage footprint and you know, build a master bedroom, bathroom with closet kind of over the top of that. So we've been working with O'Sullivan Architects. Donnie Garrity's been our main contact. He filed this. I do have this on a flash drive, and I have some copies if anyone needs the paperwork. So we were just looking to.
I think we've got digital copies.
Sure. Yeah, just wanted to answer.
I appreciate it.
But that's really it. We were just looking to kind of go above the garage and build basically a master bedroom, bathroom, and closet for me and my wife.
Sounds good.
And we did, I had a couple conversations with Phyllis Doherty, who's our next door neighbor, who's kind of the closest to us. Her house is next to the garage, and she has been, you know, very supportive. She's well aware of it. So we did speak with her a couple of times, and she's supportive of this. So.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody have questions?
I do. Overall, I don't think I had any problem. The house was built a long time ago, 1964.
Thank you.
So it's essentially grandfathered in. And and what you're doing is, say this in quotation marks, not creating a new nonconformity. I'll get back to that one. So overall, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't. It's an easy one to approve, okay? But the one thing that bothers me is that on the plot plan, it shows the current nonconformity on the left-hand side being 10.7 feet.
Mm-hmm.
The addition reduces that to 10.6 feet, which means it's a new nonconformity. And it means it's going to require a variance.
Okay.
And my gut tells me that for what you're doing here, the ability to get a variance for 1/10 of a foot is probably going to be extremely difficult to get.
Okay.
Now, 1/10 of a foot and 10 feet, engineers is well within the accuracy of their ability to measure it, okay? So I look at that and say they're the same thing. I think the plot plan is one of the documents that goes into the records of the town as being a document that supports the decision that was made. So it'd be very hard to grant a variance based on this plot plan. My suggestion to you would be to figure out how you might be able to get rid of that 10th of a foot. Okay? And I'm surprised that Mr. Sullivan didn't really pick up on that and bring that to your attention before. You know, the best way to do it, the best thing I could say is tell you to go back and measure the 10.7.
Yeah, it's
Measure the
actually,
10.6, and if that is exactly correct, you're gonna need a variance.
well, it's shown on the proposed first floor plan. In the page 7 of 9 of the plans.
Right.
See, there's a dotted line that says line of existing wall below, and the new construction is beyond that.
Yeah.
So the measurement is correct. They're adding a foot.
Or 10.
And that may seem de minimis, probably is de minimis, but technically Si is right. It increases the nonconformity. It basically increases by a foot the violation, or probably not even a foot. It looks, although it looks bigger on the drawing
Yeah,
than the measurement shows.
Because of the diagonal, it probably only goes
Yeah.
over.
The overhang goes to the back.
So it
This is from the
increases,
side.
it increases by a tiny bit how much you're infringing on the setback.
So my suggestion to you would be to get with John, maybe have him measure the darn thing,
Okay,
to see if that's not real or is real,
okay.
and whether you really truly need a variance or not. Right now, based on the document, you need a variance.
Okay.
And that's going to be extremely hard for you to get. I'll be very careful.
It would be easier to change the design.
For what you're talking about here, it'd be extremely difficult to get a variance.
So if it were to just kind of be continuous to where the line is now, it would,
It would be an overhang.
It needs to be no more than it
You'd
currently.
probably get approval for it without even taking a permit.
Yeah.
That's the hiccup, that's a hiccup, it's just a hiccup, okay? I personally don't have anything wrong with what you want to do, absolutely not. It's just that's the technicality that we need to correct.
Yeah.
And I think if you go with Mr. John Sullivan, and he'll understand that, I think,
okay,
clearly.
Yep.
okay.
And I think he can find a way to remeasure it. It's not bad. Or maybe change that input on the overhang a little bit further out.
I guess my,
A
like, our,
little further out, and that would be no problem.
or just have it overhang the front instead of the back, and then got the same amount of floor space, and no problem at all.
Yeah, yeah. It's an easy thing to solve, I think,
Right.
if you could do that.
Okay.
And then I think we would just suggest that you continue this meeting to the next one. Give you time to fix that one, and then I think it'd be better just coming in and moving with their approval.
Okay.
At least that's my opinion. I don't know if
Yeah,
anybody else
I would
feels
agree with
okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the balcony in the back's okay, it's really just that.
Balcony's fine.
Balcony's okay
It's
because
that 10.
Balcony's fine, it's just the setback on the side, that's all.
it's the 10.6. We need it to be 10.7.
Yeah. To avoid a variance, it needs to be 10.7,
Yep.
just like it is currently.
Okay.
Okay. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be talking about it tonight, we would be approving it.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
I don't know whether a month means a big deal to you or not. The next meeting is
Whatever.
It's beginning of March.
First Tuesday of
Yeah,
March.
first Tuesday of March.
what, March, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you want to request that we continue this thing for you until next meeting,
Sure, yeah, that
we'll
would be
take a
great.
vote on that.
Yeah, and that'll keep this, it's March 5th. That'll keep this hearing open, this application open.
Okay, yeah, that would be fantastic.
I would move the grant the petitioner in continuation until the March meeting.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Yeah, so you,
Sorry about that.
Sorry. No worries. These little technicalities trying to stop it.
yeah.
See what you can do.
I know.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, you're free to go. Thanks there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. assume there's no public comment. No.
I don't think there's any public here, I believe. Ma'am, you're here for the other one, right?
I just want to hear about the McDonald's.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so I'm going to start with ZBA case 24-01. So the zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing at the conference meeting room at Town Hall, 16 Lowell Street, Reading, Massachusetts, on Tuesday, February 6, 2024, at 7 p.m. on application of McDonald's USA LLC, CO Bowler, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9 and/or 10, for a special permit, variance, or other relief under the Reading zoning bylaws, Section 4.5, 7.4, and 9.1.1.7, as may be determined by the zoning board for the drive-through stacking capacity to exit onto the road for the property located at 413 Main Street, Assessors Map 17, Lot 64, in Reading, Massachusetts. Unless there's an objection, I'll dispense with the reading of the abutters list, except to say that the abutters were notified as per the following: the select board, town clerk, police department, fire department, building department, conservation commission, health department, assessor's office, engineering division, CPDC, and members and associate members of the board of appeals, as well as the planning boards of Wakefield, Linfield, North Reading, Stone, Woburn, and Wilmington. I think we're all set with the votes. So want to get started when you're ready? Okay.
A site plan just for reference, easy to talk through.
Okay.
Best place to put it here or right here?
Yeah, that's probably,
Probably, I would say probably right.
Yeah,
that works.
Should I take an oath if I'm going to ask questions?
You can do whatever you want to.
Okay.
You're probably good.
We need your name for the record if you're going to be speaking at all, even asking
We
questions.
should have your name as a sign-in.
My name is Barbara Goodrich.
Okay,
Last name Goodridgeo. Okay.
okay, thanks. Normally, we have a sign-in sheet, but we're not usually. Oh, we've got one, okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
And I live on Bolton Street, which is why I'm interested.
Okay.
Yep, okay.
Good. All right. Evening, everyone. Dan Allen with Bowler, as the civil engineer on the project, here representing McDonald's as the applicant tonight. As some of you may recall, we previously were before you back in the summer for a special permit and a variance to permit the proposed raise and rebuild of an existing non-conforming use, as well as permit the digital menu boards that are a part of the project. Both of those applications were approved back in July. Following those approvals, we applied to the CPDC and Conservation Commission, and then after about 3 meetings with each of them over the past 6 months, we were finally approved at last month's meeting. During the kind of final meeting with the CPDC, there was one item that got brought up relative to a proposed pull forward window, which is kind of the third drive-through window on the building, and it needing to comply with the 54-foot requirement from the window to the exit line. Originally, our understanding is that we were complying with that 54-foot requirement. So the primary window here, which is the main window that everybody picks up their orders at. So that pull forward window was really just used for situations where they have high peak volume and you have those larger orders that are taking longer time to prepare. So they'll tell those people, can you please pull up to the pull forward window? That allows traffic in the drive-through to continue moving, and then people pick up their order and just like the flow to kind of continue there. So in talking with Andrew, we had believed we were compliant, and he thought as well. But during the meeting, the CPDC had a final discussion and believed, hey, you guys should go back to the ZBA to get approval for that third window as part of the condition of the approval, which is why we're here before you again today. And get into the details of the site plan, but I know many of you have seen it. But the kind of relief we're requesting is for that pull forward window. We believe that really still the overall design meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, where that 54-foot stacking from the driveway to the pickup window is really intended to avoid those situations where that primary window is within that 54 feet. So you only have like a couple cars that are able to stack following that window. People get stuck at the pickup window, and that just traffic stacks, continues to stack in the drive-through. So we believe we're still providing that like 58 feet to the primary pickup window and compliant with the zoning bylaw. So it's really just to improve the overall operations of the drive-through and kind of the intent of the overall project, to just improve the existing drive-through operations on site. Additionally, kind of the benefit of that third pull forward window, their employees tell people to pull up, they can deliver those larger orders through that window without having to leave the building. As you see on the outer parking row here, there's also 2 pull forward parking spaces. So under the circumstance that there is a vehicle at this window waiting for their order and another larger order that is there, they'll tell that person to pull up to the pull forward space. So if the third pull forward window wasn't permitted, it kind of employees will have to every time go outside, walk across the drive aisle, deliver the food, come back in. So it's really a positive for the employees there and just kind of their day-to-day operations. Otherwise, another kind of constraint on the site where we're not really able to comply for this window, it's just based on a couple factors here. You have a large underground culvert bisecting the site that we're maintaining as part of the project. So that's really limited the building orientation and layout like we're able to provide here. We had initially looked at reconstructing the culvert, but just the analysis needed, and we didn't believe it was going to result in being able to reroute it just based on hydraulic calculations and stuff like that. And then talk with engineering, they're like, hey, yeah, if you guys can maintain it, I think that's the preferred strategy going forward, which we've done. So it's kind of limited us, and obviously we can't really shift it back any further here. We're really kind of pinched already. And I think it's really about it. So yeah, we're just here before you again and hoping to get a vote tonight. One way or the other, as McDonald's is aiming to go to construction in April, so we're kind of initiating the building process now, just really hoping to wrap up all the entitlements as McDonald's prepares for construction. So I'm happy to open it up to any questions or any other items you guys have.
Review, because this lady is here, she's probably not doing some of that. That's the east side over there, up top.
Correct, so.
That's where those ordering windows are. Is that correct?
So the ordering points?
The ordering windows.
Yes.
You got 2 drive-throughs.
Yep, correct.
Okay.
So yeah, I can provide some more background on that.
Yeah. That's what this lady's been.
Yep. So overall, the project, the real kind of intended improvement is to improve the drive-through operations out there, where they only have a single order point today. So under kind of the existing conditions, they only have like 1 order point back here, so vehicles come in and then they just immediately stack to the road. Under the proposed kind of conditions, we kind of extend the stacking capacity. Just we've heard multiple comments from boards been like, hey, there's traffic stacking out to the road. So it's really an improvement to the overall conditions. And then they kind of dual order points now. They have 2 order points, which will allow them to kind of keep traffic moving, where you have that big order will no longer like stall the drive-through operations where people have to wait for 8 or 9 orders in that car full of the soccer team to be completed. As part of the original ZBA approval, McDonald's had agreed to close this outer lane between the hours of after 9 p.m. and no earlier than 7 a.m. Just for based on our discussions with the budding property owner there. So that lane will be closed during the evening and the early hours of the morning. And another kind of improvement we made based on our discussions with the abutter here was proposing a 12-foot sound wall barrier. So where there's only about 6-foot stockade fence today, we're gonna have a 12-foot like sound mitigation barrier there instead, which will really improve the existing conditions and any sound impacts to that property.
I'm not aware of many people exiting onto Bolton Street. Will it increase the number of people who exit onto Bolton Street, any of your traffic routes?
No, I don't believe it'll significantly change it. We're really maintaining the 3 driveways that are out there today.
And I didn't know it was starting in April. That was one of the things I wanted to know.
Yeah, so they're looking to really prepping for construction right now.
Yeah.
So just a few questions about the drive window at the moment. Is it going to be regularly manned or only ever used in circumstances where folks are specifically told to pull forward?
Yeah, so they won't have somebody there sitting at the window all the time. It's really, hey, we have a high volume of traffic and you have that big, larger order. Hey, this is going to take 3 or 4 more 5 minutes.
In terms of the floor plan, is it actually in the area where the kitchen would be as
Yeah,
well?
so it's all, I believe it's all open kind of on that side.
Okay. And you did say that there were 2 other spots
Yep.
where folks would be pulling forward as well.
Yes, yep. Just to kind of keep the traffic moving to the drive-through, so.
Do you have an idea, percentage-wise, of how often, out of, every 100 people going through the drive-through, how many need to pull forward to wait for their order in general?
I do not have that number. I'm not sure if there's really, not sure if we have that information available, just based on what McDonald's has. Really to confirm that, I think like the traffic study would be needed and analysis. But again, it's really just for those situations. Ideally, they're just getting all the food out that first window.
Right. But I guess my concern about it, I mean, it seems tight to me, having a window that far forward and that close to Main Street. And, depending on how often it's necessary, particularly if you've got also 2 parking spaces for it,
Yep.
then what's the point other than not requiring your employees to go outside to deliver the order? But I look at Chick-fil-A, their employees practically live outside.
Yeah.
So I don't see that as a hardship necessarily. So can you address that?
Yeah, I believe they, so yeah, Chick-fil-A, obviously a different business model and kind of how they deal with the drive-through with their employees out there. Yeah, it's just really the ideal for operations. Again, it just gets the customer their order quicker rather than having to wait for the person to come out, go across, and then come back. And again,
I would also imagine it's safer for the employees as well.
yes, to be in the building.
But right now, they do it that way, right?
Correct. Yep, they
Necessary?
only have one window out there as well.
Have you ever had an incident, an accident, an employee who slipped on ice or almost got hit by a car or anything like that?
I'm not aware of.
I didn't-
Yeah, not aware of that.
Because my concern about just the space, and there's not a lot of space, and I realize that right now it might look more crowded because of the playground stuff is still there.
Yeah.
And, but even so, accounting for that, my concern is cars behind the normal window pulling out, right when the car at the pull-through window is also pulling out, and
Yeah.
there's not a lot of space there in the first place, and you're right at Main Street.
So,
practically.
yeah.
You're
so
a
that-
car length away from Main Street.
Yep, so that, I mean, this vehicle here would be able to pull around based on the spacing they have there. They wouldn't be stuck behind it.
Not if the car in the pull-through window also started to pull out at the same time without looking in the rearview mirror, et cetera.
Just a very quick question about what is the proposed distance from Main Street to that 3rd window?
So the third one is 30.1 feet.
31 feet.
31 feet?
30.1, 30 feet, approximately.
Is the playground going to be gone?
Yes, the playground is gonna be removed. This recirculation lane also, should that, allow these vehicles just pull there, should they be waiting here, they can pull in and go up Bolton as well.
That's like from an accident standpoint, that's where I'd be more afraid of accidents occurring rather than
Coming right around the corner there.
certain
Yeah.
folks who would be coming around and going out the recirculation lane being then subject to accidents from people pulling forward from
Yeah.
that move forward lane. That's more my concern than the folks who would be going out into Main Street.
I guess like not that it have to be done either way, but like also backing out of those pull-through spaces doesn't seem great. Like I don't know that's any safer than coming out of that third window.
That's true too. Yeah, it's a tight space.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of tight space.
However, you guys aren't necessarily, you have the space available that you don't necessarily need a variance for the travel lanes for
Yeah.
either one. So there is enough space in between. I believe it's 24 feet that has to be in between. Is that correct? Or
For the travel lanes,
for the travel lane and then for that drive-through lane as well.
yeah, the drive-through lane width, I believe, was 10-foot minimum there.
Okay.
So we're providing that, and then, yeah, there don't believe there are any issues on the drive-through or the drive aisle width either.
Okay. Yeah, that never came before
Yeah.
us, so.
Yep.
And so is the intention for that exit onto Main Street, that's only one lane or is there gonna be like a right?
That's just one, there's just one lane, it's go both ways.
You can only ever really turn right out of that lane.
Yeah, that's what,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
That's
Oh, you
part
can
of the
turn
reason.
left. I've done it.
Okay.
I have a couple of comments. You answered the question indirectly before. You have three pickup windows, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Or two pick, the first window is just for the cash payment. So the first window they pay at, and
But
then,
there's three windows.
yeah, 3 windows total, one.
Okay. And has there been any look-see and thought about what is happening to the traffic with this modification and remodeling of that? I mean, you know what, you probably have a pretty good idea what traffic has been with the current
Yep.
McDonald's. Do you see an increase in that?
Not significantly.
So whatever you've experienced with the current McDonald's should not be any much different than what you're going to experience with the new one.
No, I believe the numbers, they expect like a 5% increase in sales. Or,
That's not much.
no, it's not
Yeah.
real
So the
significant.
traffic should be relatively the same.
Yep, so that was kind of the CPDC was looking for more information on that, about potentially doubling the capacity, and we had our traffic consultant.
McDonald's is
Probably not gonna
doing this
happen.
because they're basically remodeling all their sites.
Right.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
new look, and you're doing it everywhere. I mean, it's a couple
And it-
in New Hampshire, and it's like that.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of these, done a lot of these, and yeah, the biggest thing is really that stacking capacity and just us improving that. Where today it's just one single line, boom, you have like the 14th car pretty much in the right of way, where the 14th car under this circumstance is still within the drive-through lane. So it's just really,
I don't think I've ever seen more than 3 or 4 cars at a time there.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
are
another
you-
number I've heard called 58.4 feet. What is that number?
so that's
That
That was in your application, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the distance from the exit driveway to the main order window. So it's compliant with that 54 feet.
But they're concerned that the additional pull-through window is now where the 58 feet needs to start. That's,
And that's why, I think, yeah, so that's what's before us.
Yeah. So, but again, like was the main primary window, which based on our discussions with Andrew, he thought our interpretation was correct, but the CBDC, the overarching kind of zoning authority,
yeah.
said that we should come up here before you guys get into that.
So the specific variance that you are requesting is one which allows the 31 feet versus 54 feet minimum required by the bylaw.
Correct, just for that third window.
That's what you're talking, that's what the
For-
buyer's requesting
For the third window that you want, we're
Yes.
concerned with the granting of a variance, with the fact that the variance is there forever. So if we're giving a deviation from the required distance for what is effectively a drive-through window, you're saying, well, it's not really a drive-through window, it's just a, excess pull-through window, and it's not going to be used all that much. But the next people who come along and use that property may say, oh, I can put my main drive-through window right here. I've got a variance.
Yeah,
So
the problem.
that's our concern, and I don't know if we have the authority to say, we'll grant it, I think we do, probably, grant it for this use only, but not for another use. And I don't know if we can do that, and that's the
It's
problem.
law that the variance goes and stays with the property
Yes, but
The variance stays with the property.
forever.
However, the conditions that you place on the variance
Right.
as well would still be required for that property as well.
we're not giving a variance for a main drive-through window. We'd be giving a variance for a special limited use window.
Yes, and then we just have that, we meet that requirement for the 54 feet as well for the.
Yeah, the regular window is fine.
Next question I have is that if the waiver were to be disapproved, what would you have to do? Eliminate that window? What's the distance from the street to the second window?
Yeah, so this is that.
That's okay, that's 50.
That's that 58.4, so that's where
That's the 50.
so that's where we're complying with the regulation, and that kind of limited use window is within that
Okay.
Yeah.
kind of minimum stacking length.
Thing is that until the CPTC brought it up, nobody was thinking of that last window as a drive-through window.
We understood that there was just that minimum requirement, and that was within that, so.
Yeah. So that's the thing, if we were to grant the variance, theoretically, somebody in the future could use that window as a regular drive-through
Not
window.
even so in the future, McDonald's could say.
Or McDonald's could start, yeah,
yeah.
we need a third window, we need two to pick up and one to pay.
I think there, I guess with that, it would just be the kind of limited capacity of the kitchen as well. So if they were to try to utilize that second window full time, I'm not sure if they'd have the kitchen capacity where people would come through and their order be ready. They just take it out the first window.
And I also don't know how you would enforce the difference, because what's the definition of somebody who needs to pull forward? You know, I know it has to do with McDonald's volume at any given time, but, you know, if you're ordering 10 items, do you have to pull forward? Is it 20? Is it 6? Is it a special order with the Big Mac with no pickles? You know,
Just the,
what is
there's
it?
variability in
Yeah.
all the other orders going on and where the kitchen
I think
equipment
it's
is at.
usually at the discretion of the kitchen itself.
Right.
That's my understanding.
Which again is the problem with granting a
Yeah.
variance like this, because it is in the discretion of the kitchen itself based on the circumstances at the time. There's no way to make a standard definition of an acceptable use for that window that is less than the distance required.
Be any way to like include the condition that the window is provided in compliance with the like exit lane regulation with that.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Because I understand your potential concerns about, hey, somebody else comes in here as well and just utilizes this front window based on that variance
Yeah.
being there.
Or just the.
I mean, we would have to say, you know, we would have to say something along the lines of this variance is only for the use of this window for purposes of, and, you know, I think we would probably need to think about the wording, you know, for purposes of, you know, overflow,
Supplemental.
you know, yeah.
I think we
I'm
should
sure
make
you
it-
can make it work.
Well, that's the thing. And then how do you enforce that?
I'm not sure how you make that definition work.
I guess what I was running is if we had numbers, we say that only X% of the traffic goes to that window.
Yeah, that's why I asked earlier,
Yeah.
is there a percentage? Yeah. Which also is kind of unenforceable unless somebody's watching, but.
Yeah.
Sorry, you've got a couple lawyers here, so we're figuring out these things.
If we were to disapprove this, then obviously you'd have to go
Yeah,
back to that. If you came with 58.4,
They just
It
remove.
would just,
They would
it
just
would just be part of the
yeah,
wall.
just remove the window, it'd be part of the wall. The question is whether or not with the anticipated traffic being like it has been in the past, would that work? Unfortunately, we have to wait to find out, right? The other issue too is that, you know, I apologize for this, is that tonight we expected to have a full board here.
Right.
You do require 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
so you
votes to
require
do
all
that.
this.
Tonight you need 4 out of 4.
Yep.
And you're getting some comments that suggest that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah,
So-
I just wish, I wish I had more information about the impact of that window in terms of its frequency of use and,
There was some impact information experience that would support the volume that's going through that nature now.
right.
It would be helpful. See if we can approve it or not. Because 31 feet is very close to the street.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going by my gut. I drove by and looked and like, whoa, that's close, you know? It's-
Yeah. And that's a busy street.
Yep.
Very
Yeah.
At an intersection,
Traffic numbers.
close to an
A lot
intersection.
of traffic there.
Yeah, I know there was concerns from the board about accidents and stuff like that, and we said,
Does anybody know what's going on with the gas station there? It's shut up
be a
right now?
bank.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna bag? Okay.
It's just crazy. Neither here nor there.
Sure about the top.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, other than if there's any way you can come up with a better reason for justifying the need for that third window. Because right now, it's a tough sell. It really is a tough sell. For me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like I think some of the criteria are, like your response to the criteria are well thought out, but I think they're kind of on the edge, and then with the complications of like actually making an enforceable criteria where this is not a primary
I
thing.
mean, you have a lot of the approvals to do what you want to do.
Right.
yeah,
You know, I can see this as a stumbling block. In fact, you're going to do the project anyway. The question is, how do you live with what, if you didn't
you
get
can
this
do.
waiver?
Yeah, and I
Variance, how would you do it?
And I want to add that I remember, I mean, I know this drawing was before us over the summer when we were looking at it before. It's the same drawing, and I assume the picture of that car was there. I didn't realize that was another drive-through window. I thought it was a picture meant to illustrate the car pulling away and going out, you know? If I thought about it at all, you know? If this issue had come up before, I think I probably would have identified it as an issue before.
yeah,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Especially we wish we got it. But yeah, so it seems like need some additional information, any numbers we can provide to give you guys a better idea of how
Or
to
a better
formulate.
question, please, why, explain to us why you can't get
Yeah.
out the third window.
Yeah, and part of it, as you know from the criteria, it's a balancing thing. I mean, we have some concerns about, I mean, our traffic isn't really our bailiwick, but, you know, about the use of that space, given what it's gonna be, and also about just the potentially future expansion of the use of that area, which would not be our intent in granting the variance, but if we grant the variance, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you could address those issues in comparison with the impact to McDonald's of not being able to do it.
Yeah, I think we'd like to see you do that before we have a vote.
Yeah, can
I don't know whether to change the vote or what the vote would be, but I
Yeah.
think if having that kind of input from you folks
gotcha. So
would help.
yeah, so I think we'd like to just.
I mean, I've seen your other facilities, and they're good looking. They're nice looking
The
facilities.
thing
I've seen
do
some
for-
with
They're all
the
the-
cool lights, with
they're
the
also
cool
on
ordering.
bigger lots.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
It's good looking. It'll be very pretty. It's nice.
Is this going to affect you being able to begin in April?
Oh, that shouldn't, I don't think.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll likely continue moving forward with it without the window.
Are you gonna raise the existing building?
Yes, yeah, so full demo, rebuild, but building's generally like right in the same location, just really due to that culvert, not wanting to impact it at all. So, yeah,
I
so-
went to a planning meeting for Walker Brook, et cetera, and they talked about that intersection of Bolton Street and Ash Street as being the worst intersection, I think, in the state.
That's what,
Yeah.
certainly in Reading, yeah.
And so,
I don't know about the state, but it's pretty bad.
I think my suggestion would be to continue this meeting
Yep.
until the March one, which is the fourth thing. And just come in with the, you know, a better story
Yep.
on that, and then we'll hopefully, and I think we should hopefully have 5 people at that meeting. I apologize for that tonight. So,
So I will move to continue the meeting until April, until,
Assuming that the applicant is asking for that?
I believe that's what it said.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear him say.
I second
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Yep,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
All right.
And thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So how long do you think that construction is going to take?
Construction typically takes around 3 months from demo. Yeah, the construction teams have been doing these for
Yeah, they built a few.
10 years. Yeah, they know how to do this.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
This has been very interesting. So,
Appreciate your
yeah.
Am I correct?
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see community involved in these things. It is. Thank you very much. You're Dan, right?
Correct. Yeah. Oh, should I sign in on that?
Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, please sign in.
I think the last page we've got minutes from the January meeting too.
There are 2 places on the minutes where the T is missing in my last
Something
name,
else.
the beginning and
Because
the
we
end.
don't have anybody to log to make corrections to the minutes, which Andrew usually does. I'd like
Yeah.
to postpone the review of this minutes until the next meeting.
Okay, we can do that too. I assumed he was gonna
Unless you wanna
watch, I
take all
assumed
the
he was gonna listen to the recording.
We can do it.
I think it.
That's fine, we can do it next time.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we're good.
Go home and watch what Rachel Maddow has to say about today's news.
Hold on. Rob, should we go on record? Thank you.
Thank you.
Other way to know.
So I did a couple of texts that something interesting occurred.
Oh, really?
Jack McCarthy resigned from select board. Hey,
We off?
yeah, we're done. Okay, are we all? Sorry. Yeah, I know. Right. Oh, sorry.
I don't